I've got Laura here, who is a Moxie bride who created this beautiful images that you just saw. And thank you so much for joining me today, Laura, and just taking time out of your day to just share your experience.
Yeah, I'm honored to be here to chat with you.
I loved your images. Like the yellow is what did it for me. It was like soft and romantic, and you had the blushes and the peaches, but then those like pops of soft yellow I thought were completely romantic. I loved how you pulled in the chamomile, and then the pictures of your little dog. Oh my gosh. Let's see. So when did you why did you decide to DIY your flowers? I had read like kind of your questionnaire, and you know, it's obviously that you're very artistic and that you're drawn to like getting your hands in things. But yeah, how did that come about?
Yeah, so I and my sister have always, or sorry, all the women in my family essentially have always had fresh flowers in the home at all time. My grandma has like amazing rose gardens in her home. My parents also have beautiful flowers that they grow, and so they're always like rotating out fresh flowers and creating arrangements in a very like this is what I enjoy kind of way. And then my sister and I have both also taken a couple of flower arranging classes for fun, like with friends. So we've always kind of had that connection with florals from always. And so when it came to making that choice for the wedding, I think I had kind of seen like here and there that DIYing your flowers was an option, but it never really felt possible until I started looking into it and looking into what florists in the area charge, which they deserve every single penny that they charge. And like, I'm not at all knocking that, but I knew it was something that I would enjoy and that would help give me a space to release some stress.
Yeah.
Because, you know, doing stuff with your hands, you get kind of into that flow mode, and it's really, really soothing and calming. So I was like, I think not only would I save money, which wonderful, like super great perk, but it gave me an outlet to be creative and to find some calm amidst all the other decision making. And I also knew I didn't want a lot of florals, and it's hard to find options for florals that aren't extravagant this day and age. So it felt like the perfect way to give myself space to do exactly what I wanted, how I wanted, while also giving me kind of that like playful side to wedding planning, which can get very like logistical and detail oriented and not fun quickly. But when you have that like playful side, it's like, at least I get to play with flowers, and like,
Yeah.
that'll be fun.
How many helpers did you have?
It was myself, my sister, and my mom and her sister, and then a very, very close family friend that's practically my aunt. Like, we're not related, but my second aunt.
Yeah, you are. You know.
Yes. So it was 5 of us. I know my mom was getting like really nervous about the process, so she was on cleanup duty. So she'd come around and like pick up all the stems that had fallen, and was just like bringing us drinks because she was like, I'm too nervous to like help. And it was great having the like ability to assign tasks. My sister loved the bud vases. She's very much like, don't waste a single thing. Like, if this broke, I will find somewhere to put it. And so I you know, kind of let her loose on the bud vases, and she let her skills shine there. And then yeah, me and my not related to me aunt, we were in charge of all the bouquets and centerpieces, and we kind of took turns with how we were working through it. And my aunt was on playlist duty. It was really good teamwork that we had amongst us.
What was your vision? Because you said that you wanted to have some color, and like what were the words? What words could you describe of what you were trying to achieve, like with your color story and your vision?
Warmth, softness, and like movement. I wanted a lot of movement in my bouquet for sure. And I definitely wanted it to feel warm without leaning so heavily into the oranges and reds that are associated with fall colors. Cause like red is not a color that I enjoy, but I
Yeah.
wanted that sense of like that cozy like warmth of fall. So yeah, bringing in the peaches and the yellows was kind of how we went for that. And
Mhm.
yeah, I just wanted it to feel very happy and like warm and sunny.
Yeah. I loved the peach. Like for a second when I was like looking, I was like, is there orange in there? And I like zoomed in. I was like, oh no, that's peach. And I loved like the gunny eucalyptus and the way you
Mhm.
shaped your bouquet and you kind of had like a soft U shape to it, and you pulled the gunny eucalyptus in a really nice like direction, the way it flowed out. So I
Thank
always
you.
appreciate like when people can design and let the shape of the flower go in the direction that it wants to go. And so you achieved that beautifully. And how did you
Thank
build
you.
your bouquet? Like did you spiral or lay it down, or what was your method?
I started the like first attempt, I tried the like X handheld and I was really struggling. And so then I just like took it all apart and I did the like lay down technique
Mhm.
and then with like probably half of the flowers just to get the shape because I couldn't figure out how to get the greenery to not feel like it was like a bowl around everything. It was feeling very like stacked. So that really helped me get the shape to get it in my hand. And then I went in and was just adding, um, and with the mirror, which was a fantastic tip. I loved how you use the mirror to build the bouquets.
Yeah,
Absolute game changer.
it makes
Um,
such a difference.
yeah, because even I like the first time I tried, I used my phone and like, no, that was so difficult. So that was really helpful to get the layout that I wanted. And then working with like varying the heights so that it wasn't so symmetrical, but keeping it also pretty compact. Yeah.
Did you pass out like the custom design recipes to everybody? And did you create a mock-up, or were you like, go for it?
So we did print out the recipes. And what I did was I made the first centerpiece, kind of how I wanted it to look. And then our family friend was the one who kind of replicated that for all the other centerpieces. And then I did the all the bouquets. So I did mine and then the bridesmaids bouquets. And then with the bud vases, like I said, I like didn't have the patience or the space for that. So I was like, Claudia, go do literally whatever you want. And she would come over and be like, is this okay? I'm like, it's perfect. Like, do your thing. You're crushing it. And we didn't, I don't think we lost, like obviously beyond, you know, what you lose in transit and the flowers that are just not um strong enough to make it through. We didn't
Yeah.
lose anything. Like things with stems like this big still somehow made it in, and it was very sustainable in that way.
Did you have any challenges like with so did you get your flowers shipped in
Mhm.
cargo or FedEx?
Cargo.
Was that process
Easy,
difficult, or did you find it like, were you nervous? Okay, you just
super
went and
simple.
picked them up.
Yeah. We went, picked them up, brought them home. We had picked up a bunch of the like small trash cans to hydrate them. Um, I don't think we had any. I don't think we had any loss. Like
Really?
everything. Maybe there were one or two roses
Yeah,
that like it just like
shattered on
yeah
you.
did the like spinny thing to open them up, and then it was just like petals everywhere.
Like,
But
boom.
yeah, it's like oh explosion. But there might have only been like two out of everything that we got, which
That's good.
very little. We were really we made sure we hydrated them well and followed all the steps there.
I can always tell, like, the second I like see arrangements, I can tell how much education they, took the time. And did you take the little DIY masterclass or print out the worksheet to assign things? Was that helpful, or did it feel like too much? And you won't hurt my feelings. Like, I've been a wedding planner for 14 years. I don't have feelings.
I loved the master classes. I learned so much, even with like the different approaches to working through the bouquets and knowing how to prepare and like get the flowers ready. The timeline for between when you receive them and when you have the wedding. All of that was super helpful because it was stuff that I didn't know. And I know, I don't remember if it was part of the master class or just on the blog itself, but there were like a couple breakdowns of different flowers and how to prep them, how to work with them, and kind of their like trickiness, and that also helped in the purchasing process too, knowing like, okay, I want sturdy things, because if all the flowers start falling apart on me, I'm going to lose it. And kind of knowing that going in was helpful as well, knowing which flowers were sturdier that I could maybe like be less gentle with, which ones needed a lot of gentle care. And I know you also had, I think it was on Instagram, about like reflexing the Lysianthus, which
Oh
I
yeah.
didn't know was possible. And that like they were already my favorite flower. And then that just like changed the game for me. So I really like dove into all the resources, because I only knew so much and I wanted to feel prepared, so that going in, I wasn't like, oh God, I have to do all these flowers and I get married tomorrow. But it was like, I get to play and like, this is going to be easy and fun. So all the resources were super, super helpful.
I saw that you had reflexed a few of those Lizzies, and I was like, oh, somebody's been watching, doing their homework. Okay. Did you feel like it was this out of body experience where you're like, that was like 10 minutes at the end of the day, where you just like, I was there for hours, but it did not feel like hours. I think it just felt like seconds. What was your experience?
I had heard that experience so much that I think I went into the day like really aware of how to slow down time,
Yeah.
because I didn't want to get to the end of like a beautiful celebration with all the people I cared about and feel like I missed it. And even just thinking that like makes me a little emotional, and I like feel for all the people that have that experience. I have like I spent so much time, um, and I built time into the schedule throughout the day to give us moments to just like pause and like process what was happening. So, luckily we didn't fall behind with hair and makeup. And so on the drive over, like we took the slow roads instead of the highway so we could like
Oh,
enjoy the drive
yeah.
over. When we like did our photos, I like made sure all of my bridesmaids just like took a moment to like arrive in the moment with me. Even just like walking down to the first look, like they were like, come on down. And I was like, I need a minute. And like taking those seconds to just like pause.
Ah,
And then in our ceremony, we had a whole piece about like hands and, holding hands, and how the hands of your partner are the hands that are going to be with you forever. And we like made some jokes about the things my husband and I like to do. And we did it holding hands. And I like made sure that I was like, I can feel his 5 fingers around my 5 fingers, and like I can feel the like slight chill in the air on my back, and like trying to be really present, because I didn't want to have that sensation at the end of the day. So yeah, I actually feel like at the end of the day, it felt like a very long day, and that I didn't feel rushed in any of it. But I went in like having trained myself ahead of time. I think if you go into the day without that awareness, it's impossible to let any of it sink in, because there's so much going on. So I went in like very much like I will not have that experience, and I made sure that I didn't.
that's incredible. I think that's like such a important thing to share, because I have snapshots, but I mean, I was in such like I was so flustered and excited that, there was definitely like blurry moments. And did you like move the flowers around through the day, or was it like did you have it at the lunch and the reception, or how was
Mhm.
the transportation of the flowers?
So we just had to just transport them to the one venue, because it was all in the same space, the lunch
Oh,
and
okay.
the reception. But we did use our bouquets in the reception space, so that like the like dancing room was empty. There was like nothing in there, but that's where we put the bridesmaids bouquets to add just like a little bit of decoration. And then the vases that I used for the centerpieces were actually recycled Bath and Body Works candles that I spray
Yes.
painted, because recycling. And so then we let our guests kind of take those home, and then we brought one back for the after party. But otherwise, people just took those flowers home.
And did you use foam or chicken wire?
Chicken
Uh,
wire.
Nice. Did you find that tricky to get it started or?
We had practiced a couple of times, so by that day I felt pretty comfortable with it. The first time I definitely like kept forgetting how sharp it was. So I would like poke
Oh,
myself and be like, "Oh God, this is dangerous." But yeah, by the time that it got to the wedding day, we were pros.
well, thank you so much for being here and answering the questions and sharing about your experience and your time. And yeah, I'm so proud of you. You did such a great job. And we all obsessed over your dog and your photos and the socks with the little weenie dogs on
Yes.
the husband wore. That just like made it. The Doritos with the flowers in
Oh
them.
my gosh, yes.
Okay, well done.
Thank you. Yeah, Doritos are my whole brand, and that was our like party favor. Our dog's name Dito comes from Doritos. So yeah, and then the fact that the photographers put my bouquet in there, was like, this is me in a picture. I love
So good. Well, thank you so much.
it. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.